There is a truth so profound, so disruptive that once you understand it, you'll never look at your life the same way again. Nothing around you is real until you decide it is. The world you're living in isn't solid. It isn't fixed. It isn't waiting for you to figure it out. It's waiting for you to observe it into existence. This isn't just spiritual poetry. It's quantum physics. In the now famous double-slit experiment, scientists observed something strange. When electrons weren't being watched, they behaved like waves, existing in multiple states at once, scattered across probabilities. But when an observer entered the equation, the electrons collapsed into particles, into form, into something real. The act of observation changed the outcome. The observer created the reality, which means you are not a passive character in the universe. You are not here to suffer through a script you didn't write. You are the one directing the quantum stage. You are the observer, and more than that, the collapse of infinite possibility into single reality. And yet most people live as if the world is already decided, as if their circumstances are permanent. They wake up every day and replay the same thoughts, the same reactions, the same emotional loops. They keep observing what is. And by doing that, they keep recreating it over and over again, not because they want to, but because they don't know how to look differently. But what if you did? What if you stopped observing your life through the lens of limitation and began to observe with intention, with faith, with curiosity? What if instead of seeing lack, you chose to see potential? Instead of reacting to the past, you started responding to the future calling you. This is the invitation of quantum manifestation. And it starts right here, because reality is not something that happens to you. It happens through you. The quantum field, the invisible ocean of vibrating energy that underlies everything, is alive with possibilities. It doesn't respond to what you say you want, it responds to what you observe with energy, emotion, and coherence. The field isn't listening for words, it's waiting for frequency. So I'll ask you, where is your attention? Every moment your focus is like a flashlight, illuminating one version of reality over another. Are you shining that light on fear, doubt, scarcity, or are you beaming it toward trust, gratitude, vision? Most people are trying to change their lives from the outside in. But real transformation, real reality shifting, begins when you change what you choose to observe. Because every time you emotionally engage with a thought, you observe it. Every time you dwell on what's not working, you feed it energy, you make it more real. But every time you tune into a higher possibility, even if it hasn't happened yet, you bring it closer. You begin the process of collapsing it into form. This is not metaphysical fantasy. It is quantum fact. As Dr. Joe Dispenza says, where you place your attention is where you place your energy. And that energy is what instructs the quantum field. Not your effort, not your struggle, your awareness, your state of being. And that means you don't have to force your way into a new life. You simply have to become the observer who sees a new life already forming. You have to trust that reality is not locked. It's fluid. It's responsive. It's sensitive to your focus. So if everything around you is waiting to be observed into being, what will you choose to see next? This is the beginning of a new way of existing. Not as someone hopping the world changes, but as someone choosing how to engage with the field moment by moment, as a conscious observer, a deliberate creator. Let this be the start, because what comes next will forever shift how you see, feel, and create your reality. Your consciousness is not confined to the brain. It is not trapped by space, time, or circumstance. It is the invisible sculptor of reality, the silent creative force that shapes form from the field. The world you see is not the cause of your inner state, it is the reflection of it, and that reflection begins long before any action or event. Thinkers like Dr. Joe Dispenza, Umut Gami, and Bob Proctor have spent decades bridging the gap between quantum physics and spiritual wisdom, showing us that consciousness is primary and matter is derivative. Umut Gami explicitly stated consciousness creates reality, not the other way around. This inversion upends everything you thought you knew about life. It turns you from passive observer into powerful creator. But what does this actually mean? It means that your intention, your directed attention, begins to waveform possibilities into particles, that what you observe with sustained awareness collapses into form. The field around you is neutral, but your awareness gives it direction. Your attention provides it with shape. In the quantum realm, particles behave like waves until observed. In the field of human creation, your attention functions as the observing instrument. It doesn't need action. It needs presence. It doesn't require method. It requires coherence. It doesn't depend on external triggers. It depends on internal alignment. When your mind merges with feeling, emotion fused with intention, consciousness imprints a blueprint onto the field. That blueprint becomes the silent instruction that begins reshaping your internal landscape and eventually manifests outwardly in form. Some call this intention setting or creative manifestation. Others simply call it quantum creation. This is where spiritual practice meets observable science. Joe Dispenza brings attention to measurable shifts in brain waves, physiology, and electromagnetic fields when people hold coherent intent with emotion. Bob Proctor points out that it's not your thoughts that paint reality, it's your energy behind your thoughts. It's not the spoken wish, it's the state that sustains it. Consciousness is not just personal, it is non-local. This means that your awareness can influence realities even at a distance, even before things exist in physical form. You don't need proximity, you need presence. You don't need external validation, you need inner conviction. And this is the revolutionary shift. The world outside is not the cause, it is the effect. Your consciousness is the root, the soil and the seed. The field is the fertile ground. And your observation is the gentle activation that allows potential to sprout into existence. So the next time you feel powerless, remember you are not powerless. You are an infinitely creative being. Conscious agent shaping the world through the precision of your attention and the purity of your state. That is your invitation now to pause, to breathe, to bring awareness to your inner world, to realize that consciousness is not passive. It is profoundly creative, and that the reality you experience is not just unfolding for you, it is emerging through you. Creation does not begin with effort, it begins with focus. At every moment, your life is being shaped by what you're giving your energy to, not what you say. You want not what you hope for, but what you consistently observe, react to, feel into. Attention is not passive, it is magnetic. Every second you are awake, you are tuning your internal frequency, and that frequency is giving the quantum field instructions. Your attention is a tool more powerful than action, willpower, or discipline. Why? Because energy follows awareness. Wherever your attention lingers, your energy collects, amplifies, and begins to sculpt your field into form. That is why the same thoughts produce the same feelings, which lead to the same decisions, which sustain the same reality. This is not just metaphor, it's energetic physics in motion. Your emotional focus determines the vibrational quality of your field. Your thoughts don't just describe your life, they activate matching timelines. So when you keep focusing on what's not working, what's missing, or what hurts, the quantum field responds, not by judging, but by reflecting. If you continue observing your current life as just how it is, you unintentionally reinforce it. Your inner state of observation becomes the blueprint for what the universe builds next. You look at what is, emotionally react, and through that loop you observe again. Same input, same output. But when you shift your attention toward a new possibility, one that's aligned with your highest vision, and do it with emotional presence, you begin to collapse a new version of reality. You stop rerunning the past and start vibrating the future. This is the secret. Few are willing to practice with discipline, to stop observing what is, and to start observing what can be as if it already is. That's how quantum change begins. You're not faking, you're focusing. You're becoming the observer of a higher pattern until that pattern stabilizes and materializes. The old self wants to constantly check the facts of your current life. It wants to validate fears, repeat memories, measure progress. But the quantum self knows that the only true reality is the one you emotionally stabilize inside. If you observe limitation, you expand limitation. If you observe potential, you unlock it. So here is the energetic shift. Observation must become intentional. Focus must become sacred. You are not here to mindlessly witness what already exists. You are here to witness the invisible into form. Each time you give your full presence to what you wish to experience, love, abundance, peace, vitality, and embody the emotion of already being it, your attention becomes the activator. Not the hope, not the wish, but the internal decision to observe what the world has not yet caught up to. This is the art of conscious creation, choosing what to see before it can be seen, holding the frequency